I know I surprise everybody by coming on early, but I've got Bronk on the air with me here, who it's a much more reasonable hour for him anyway in England.
Yeah, I love it.
What is it, 10 o'clock there?
No, it's only 8 o'clock. In fact, it's still daylight outside. Can you believe it?
Wow, that's something that you're having daylight
Daylight
Moohead
moo.
radio. Yeah, that's scary. Put a
Yeah, I
blanket
even
over
got
my
the
head.
window open. It's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
here it's raining and overcast, so it's a
Yeah.
interesting day today. Uh, the reason I'm on at 3 o'clock as opposed to 6 o'clock, and I'll be honest about this, Rox and I are going out to do some karaoke singing locally, and you got to eat dinner and then you got to sing. So I can't be doing podcasts, so I'm doing a podcast now, and and then the podcast will remain up so that everyone can watch it with everyone. Listen to me. Like there's
Everyone.
everyone. All six
Taylor
people will be
Swift.
able to check it. Yeah, yeah. I wanted to say that I did get a hold of Brian Hallman, and he's doing okay. But he got his second strike on Facebook.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. But no, he's okay, and I was glad to hear that. I mean,
Yeah,
I've
it's
been kind
rather
of.
rather warm out in Arizona, isn't it? Is he
Oh
still out
God,
there?
yeah. Oh God, yeah. Florida too. I'm just grateful that I'm not there.
Yeah.
Uh, I want to start out the show today. It, I'll let you start out with what you just told me.
Yeah, the guy from the Eagles died today, and if you're thinking the Philadelphia Eagles, no, the guy who actually died was Randy Meisner from the Eagles. So I think he had a heartache or something. But yeah,
Tonight.
77 years old, guy from
Yeah,
the Eagles. So
yeah,
they're old, man.
yeah. Randy Meisner
Yeah,
with them for some time. And
for
if you
many
said, "Oh,
years.
wasn't it Glenn Fry?" It's like you missed the bus a long time ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're dropping like flies. And I saw that Mick Jagger
he's
uh
80,
80. It's
80 years
80th
old.
birthday, and I
80th birthday.
I watched a little bit of his of the Rolling Stones 2022 tour in Venice, and not Florida, Italy.
Or
Eh,
California for that matter.
but I noticed something different about him.
What? What'd you
His
notice?
voice, it was like, if you start me up, if you start
Oh, you just froze. Oh my!
converge. I don't know. So I just did you see my picture just blank
Yeah,
out
you
just a.
just froze, or
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't know.
showing a low internet signal, and this is
Yeah,
something that is.
it's degraded. Your signal's degraded.
I'm very sorry about this, but this is something that I'm going to have to take a look at with the router here, because
Uh,
we're getting this periodic drop off, and I don't exactly know why. Now it's showing its full strength, but I have no
yeah,
idea.
I think it's because you're in the middle of bumfuck Egypt, Ohio, man.
Oh
That's
no,
why.
man! I have a 1 gig download and
One,
and
ooh, you're
40
full
upload.
fiber.
There'd be no
Full
reason
fiber.
except if it's something mechanical, and I'm gonna have to.
Wow.
Maybe I got to reset the router. I don't know. I can do that
Maybe, yeah.
after the
Maybe it's all
program.
that karaoke. The router just couldn't handle it anymore. Is karaoke a bit like swimming? Like, do you have to leave time between eating and singing? So you don't yak up.
Yak up there on the floor. No, no, I mean it's really different getting used to. I'm used to doing podcasts and I'm staring at a camera. But when you're in front of a bunch of people and many of them drunk, you know what I've
They should be drunk.
what I've realized is in Ohio, just sing "Sweet Caroline" and the crowd will help you. It's
Yeah,
just like an automatic thing. Yeah, Rick Bay, that's funny stuff.
yeah. You don't do
Yeah.
Freebird, do you?
No, 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 no. I could, but I wouldn't. Let's get back to sports. I just wanted to tell you
No.
why I was on early. Uh, if you're, we start with
My
my leg.
leg. He's Austin Carr, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. The lower extremities, you begin to wonder. Here's my question about Joe Burrow
Aw.
is, I mean, anyone can have a calf strain, all right? Except a
Yes.
cow. A cow would have a cow strain, but
Don't
anyone,
need a calf even.
yeah, he could have a calf strain. But honestly, there's something about this that's kind of funny. Yesterday at practice, he wasn't wearing anything on his calf, his leg.
Wow, he was naked.
Today, he had a black sleeve over it when the injury happened.
Oh.
So, it's interesting. Hello, Christopher Milton Sr. How art thou? It's really an unusual thing. Non-contact injury. He's back to pass, steps up into the pocket. Then he does a light little scramble to the right and pulls up. Literally pulls up and goes to the ground, and they carted him off. Now, I've had calf strains of the grade 1 and grade 2 variety playing tennis. And there's many reasons that can happen to you. The first is that you're not warmed up properly. I find that hard to believe, just because these guys do a lot of stretching and all.
Oh, yeah.
The second way it can happen to you is a very sudden movement that you're not expecting. Like if you're hitting a certain like a depression in the ground that you don't see coming.
Oh, yeah.
And that kind of instant jolt can pull or tear a calf muscle. But the third one is the one that I'm beginning to wonder about with him. And that is an imbalance. Too many, injuries. And injuries beget injuries. And I think
Oh, God, yeah.
what this young man went through initially, now, they come back and they play, but are they completely rehabbed? And is one leg doing more work than another? The reason I'm talking about this, I've had a history in my right leg, that's where my knee replacement is, of a hamstring muscle behind my knee. It's kind of like on the side of my big ham hock, which that's the only way I can describe it. And that I'll get up in the middle of the night sometimes and just cramp. Just a cramp will come from nowhere.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Oh, it's terrible. And you can't shake it. You have to put all your weight on it and stand there and grimace. Just got to grimace and bear it. All right.
Cry.
So, I'm getting sick of this shit. So I brought a couple different orthotics with me. And so I went to an early orthotic. This is one from many, many years ago. That was my first I go back with orthotics all the way back, when I was in Canton originally. But these were the ones that were made for me in Florida many years ago. And they're very, very supportive. And I haven't worn them in an age. And because the guy who made them, who was really good, got way too aggressive. He was writing a book and he thought that, that he could rebalance anyone. And but it was turning my foot the wrong way and it just totally fucked me up. But I think when my feet, which are flat, and I pronate, which I like going always inward.
SAT word.
Yeah. What happens is your weight is going inside, and I think it's putting pressure on that muscle. And when I I put these on the last 2 days, and it's a little bit difficult because I'm not used to them, but all of a sudden I feel the support in my arch, and I look at how I'm walking. My foot is not pointing out to the side. Everything is in balance and it's hurting less. And I wonder about Joe Burrow. It's like he may not realize he's favoring one leg or another. His brain is telling him to do certain things, and you can't help it. And you end up doing things the wrong way, and pressure is put on a part of the body. And the lower extremity stuff has, he's gone from ACL. Then then he had that appendectomy, which was really, that has nothing to do with anything. But these, leg injuries, especially when you have no contact, are very, very disconcerting. And the fact that he was carted off and didn't walk off tells me he's got a grade 2 sprain. Time for the Ask Dr. Moo segment.
Dr. Boo, Dr. Boo.
It's better than Dr. Phil,
Or asking Hoinsey anything.
Hey, Hoinsey! Yeah, no. Dr. Phil is the worst one. Now, Joe! It's like, you shut the fuck up. My feeling is that 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 3 to 5 weeks. It just depends how many muscles have been torn, how much damage there is.
Oh, yeah.
The definition of a grade 1, you can get up and walk, but with some discomfort. The grade 2 is a lot of discomfort, and you don't want to walk on it. And the grade 3 is a complete rupture, and you ain't going nowhere.
Dead. Yeah, you're dead.
So
you get shot if you're a horse.
So obviously this isn't a grade 3 sprain. So I'm not trying to scare Bengals fans. It has nothing to do with that. But it's trying to understand what's happened to Burrow.
Oh, you've gone again. Ooh.
The damn picture, yeah. If it's either one of those, 3 to 5, 4 to 6 weeks, he ain't playing in the preseason.
No,
they cannot risk the future of this player with these types of soft tissue injuries. So that's that.
It'll be even worse once they get out in September and they have to play us, I believe. If it's a hot day, like if it's like pumping out 90 degrees on the turf wherever, in Cleveland, he's going to be feeling it, on that muscle. It'll cramp more.
Yeah, so. I mean, what does a grade 2 calf tear feel like? Yeah, a clear loss of strength and range of motion, marked pain, swelling, and often bruising. The thing is, if you watch, if you look at Burrow in the video of when it happened, and it is online, you can see it on ESPN.com. He goes down, and he makes no effort to get back up.
Yeah.
And his head's kind of bowed. I'd say that he's got a grade 2 and a fairly substantial grade 2, and you're not going to see him again in the preseason. Now, what game do we play the Bengals?
I think it's pretty soon. In fact, it is the 10th of September.
Is that the first game of the season?
Yes, it is.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens then.
See whether he eludes our vaunted pass rush that we keep hearing getting hyped up about. So,
well, I mean, here the thing is that he's not going to get a lot of work in. Let's just put it that way. It's going to be a lot of mental work for him. Here's Christopher Milton's giving me some medical advice. For cramps at night, take a spoonful of yellow mustard. No, that wakes me up, Christopher.
Yeah, I think that would. I think he means stomach cramps on that one.
Oh my God! I mean,
have you had English mustard, Coleman's mustard? Fucking
yes, I have. Yeah, I know. I made the mistake of getting.
Oh, woo! Come back.
Yeah, am I gone again?
Yeah, come into the light.
No. I'm showing that I'm okay here. It just depends where you are. But the way I know that this is the router, I am hooked directly from the router to my Eero, which is sitting right here, and right Ethernet it in to the computer. So
Yeah. Okay.
something's going on with the router, and I'll see if I can get that re-cranked up after the show. So at any rate, it isn't just the Browns who suffer these injuries. All right.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear about that. But the whole deal with it's happening all over the league. And it isn't just Joe Burrow. It's just not Cincinnati. It's Jalen Ramsey, all right, who was just acquired in the trade. Yeah, well, he tore his meniscus. And I can tell you, that's 6 weeks minimum. He's going to have surgery. He has to have surgery on that. And they're saying 6 to 8 weeks. And I know that because I've had meniscal repairs. And honestly, that is, it's not that it's totally devastating. It just takes that much time to heal. So, you know, it's really interesting. Aaron Rodgers, why he went to New York, I have no idea. But Randall Cobb is on the physically unable to perform list. All right. Donald Trump saw that list too. Thank you.
Aren't we all?
And so is Joe Biden. So I'll be fair.
We all
physically unable to perform. Corey Davis, he's got an illness. Alan Lazard, his leg did not. My leg did not participate in practice. Thursday, they're all out with their own respective ailments. All right. But wait, there's more. This is your Ginsu knife.
Marshall Brodini.
TV magic cards.
Magic cards. Does anybody not know the trick to TV magic cards?
Is that he was a professional magician, and they send you how to do the tricks. There is nothing special about the deck.
No, there is. That deck of cards is not an ordinary deck of cards. It's got every other card is cut very slightly shorter, and it's like the 2 of hearts. So you keep pulling out the 2 of hearts all the time, and literally there's 26 2 of hearts in the deck, but you can splay it out like it's showing all the other cards, and you hide the 26 2 of hearts.
That's a scam, and
that is a scam.
I want you to look up for me, Bronk, if Marshall Brodini's dead.
Yeah, I would think so, but
I would hope so. If that's,
we can check.
Hi, I'm Marshall Brodini, professional magician. My ass. All right. But what I was saying is there's one more big name for the Jets.
2019.
Defending Rookie of the Year offensively, Garrett Wilson rolled his ankle in practice today and didn't return after leaving the field from there. Head coach Robert Saleh said later that, get me out of here.
Get me out here.
Just get me out. He said he wasn't too concerned about it. So Rodgers gets to work with free agent acquisition Mecole Hardman, undrafted rookie Jason Brownlee. Isn't that wonderful? Austin Eckler, you know? He isn't happy about his role dwindling in the offense. They're going to turn it over to Herbert, who last year wasn't so good. Eckler didn't land the new deal he wanted to and has 1 year left on his $24.5 million contract. That didn't keep him from meeting with the other top running backs like Christian McCaffrey to discuss the issue on Zoom. Why not? Down. All right, now it's back.
Yeah, you went funny again.
Now, somebody explain to me. I mean, I'm not saying Christian McCaffrey's not deserving. He's a good football player. But come on. He's not Nick Chubb. And, you know, so not only they're all a bunch of running backs, including the ghost of Jim Brown, showed up.
Jim fucking Brown.
Yep, Jim fucking Brown, the ghost of Jim fucking Brown. You know, what's happening is running backs turn 29, 30, and, you know, they should call this now, thank you, Ezekiel Elliott, because once the Cowboys said, you know, fuck Ezekiel Elliott, we're done,
Yeah.
you know, everybody's like, well, we're done with our running backs too. They don't want to take any risk whatsoever. The NFL owners are like the scourge on the land.
They are. They absolutely are. And they all herd together. They all do one sort of steps out of line, and then the rest of them says, I'm Spartacus too, and jumps into line as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, Austin Eckler is just another one who's having trouble. Yeah, then this Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott is betting on himself this season. It's because nobody else is. Somebody has to bet on him.
Isn't
for
that
God's
illegal,
sakes.
betting on yourself in the NFL?
Yeah, that's a good question. All right, that's it. You're out of here, and we don't have to pay you. I'm sorry to hear Marshall Brodini is dead.
He had a long life, though. He lived to be 84.
Really?
Yeah, had a long life.
You know what I want to say? Two hearts that beat as one.
That's the one.
Yeah,
Over 17 million of those were sold.
that's unbelievable.
17 million.
Everybody wants to
TV
be a
Magic
magician,
cards.
but they don't want to learn how. You know,
Yep.
that's what it amounts to. Prescott was
yeah.
one of the leading quarterbacks with 15 interceptions last year,
Woohoo!
and you know,
Brett Favre.
yeah, you know, I'm going to lessen my interception numbers. Prescott said on Thursday, that is a guarantee. Oh, look out for guarantees.
Yeah.
And Prescott has
worked
turned
for,
the magic 30. He's turned the
that would-
magic 30.
Yeah, that only worked for Joe Namath guaranteeing. Then everybody tries to do it and it doesn't work.
And even it doesn't matter how much he guaranteed, he still couldn't get to Susie Colbert.
Correct. Yeah. He
So
got old too, you know. Yeah. It's frozen.
you know, Gramps running after Susie Colbert. I think you're cute. Yeah, I thought that this, here's a great quote from Deshaun Watson, Browns fans. I'll just say that being able to move everyone around, Watson said, being able to have guys play all types of different positions and being able to go out there and play fast. Like I said, the biggest thing is moving guys around and being able to do all the types of things that you guys in the media and this fan base haven't seen in the past. So being able to open the whole playbook and open the whole offense is definitely going to be special.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, in one fell swoop, Deshaun Watson has stated, oh, I know that the media and the fans have been asking,
praying.
that quarterbacks be able to do like multiple reads, and that the quarterbacks will have the option to move people around if they see in front of them that the play that has been called
Is it going to work
by Kevin Stefanski isn't going to work, right? And Kevin Stefanski's like, oh shit. So I found that quote to be the most interesting quote of the day. And you know what it comes down to, Deshaun Watson is going to make or break the Browns fan base. I mean, they're either going to be with him early or he's going to lose them. And we'll lose them fast. And, you know, Watson told Stefanski in the offseason, get off my back. No, that he'd like more autonomy on the field. And not a coach who's an automaton.
Yeah.
It's the kind of responsibility that he had in Houston, where he didn't win either. But he did make 3 Pro Bowls there. And he wants to duplicate, well, the Pro Bowl part of it for himself here. It's when he's at his best, you see, is when he's moving people around. The biggest challenge they issued is being able to go out there and direct the offense, Watson said. Of course, they give me plays in certain situations, but allowing me to be able to put us in the right play whenever that situation where we know we're not in the right play and the defense gets us, I'm not making that mistake. Ooh. Ooh. I'm getting
So we're not
goosebumps.
going to see TJ Watt know our plays better than we do ourselves this year. Is that what he's saying?
What he's saying is we go up to the front line and there's 7 up front. We don't run a sweep. That's what he's saying. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, it was so obvious to everybody. You know, you know what I say? It's one thing when TV announcers, you know, media people or fat asses like me, you know, start noticing stuff. But when Hiram does,
wow.
You know, it's a real fucking problem, man. Real fucking problem.
Grim.
So he goes on to say, dirting the ball. I mean, throwing it away. Maybe sometimes throwing it away, or sometimes you might have to take a sack just because it's part of the game. You have to give the defense credit. Being able to take that next step and putting us in situations where we can kind of help the defense, help the special teams, but putting us in situations to fill positions to be able to score points is definitely.
I didn't hear that. We lost you again. Boo, come back.
Little Sheba, come back, little Sheba. All right.
Yeah, I didn't hear. We didn't hear the last bit of that rant. You got all excited, and it just went away for me.
I'm very sorry, but I'll make sure I get this work.
It was a good rant, though. It looked impressive.
How long was I blanked out?
Oh, for about 5 seconds at least.
Oh, wonderful. Some people would say it's an improvement on the program. Here's Stefanski. When the quarterback likes a play, I like a play. We've talked about this before. There's so much football. There's so much scheme. You can get on the board and draw 1,000 plays, and they're all good. But when the quarterback's comfortable with the play, he typically makes it work. So he's still blaming Baker Mayfield. Nobody was comfortable with his play calls because they were lousy play calls.
Wow.
So you got that going for you. Yeah. And you got Elijah Moore, who today they put the pads on, and we'll see how long it takes for him to get carted off the field. But how good he's looked. I think Mary Kay Cabbage had.
They always do that with the receivers. I mean, if you go in my timeline on Facebook, go into the memories thing, you know, there was a classic on there of mine, but I had 2 different videos of OBJ catching a ball in practice, you know, from 2 different years. And I go, they're always hyping our receivers, you know, and then when they have to play real people, they suck. So,
God, can you believe that Clay Matthews missed the cut again?
Oh, no.
He was one of the semifinalists in the senior players category. He did not become a finalist. Also missing the cut is former Browns owner Art Modell.
Oh, poor Art.
Fuck you, Art. Fuck you forever. I will still find your grave now that I'm in Ohio, and I will urinate on it. That has long been a dream of mine. Oh, God. Yeah, but Clay Matthews didn't make. The only one was Marty Schottenheimer, was one of the finalists in the coach contributor category.
Wow.
Do you have to fucking die? Is that what it takes?
Oh, no, I don't know whether Sinead O'Connor is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So,
did you? Here's one for all those people who. I mean, anyone could have guessed that Sinead O'Connor was going to die soon. Her son died last year from a drug overdose, and she was never together well, she wasn't together before that or after that. But
Oh, Moo, come back.
picture, it's going to drive me crazy. The last thing that she said that Sinead O'Connor told her kids, the surviving children, yes, was to call her financial person before calling 911 because the record labels will try to get all of her artist rights, and that artist rights become more valuable after people die. People like Tupac. Do you know that Tupac has actually sold more music dead than he did alive?
Yeah. Well, so has Beethoven. So there you go.
You bring up a point.
Is true of a lot of people. Here's an interesting fact that I've just found via Wikipedia. Who do you think is older, Susie Colbert or Sinead O'Connor?
Well, Sinead O'Connor, if I'm correct, was somewhere in the vicinity of 57.
Yeah, she was 56 years old.
I
She would have been 57 this year.
Yep. And Susie Colbert, I'm going to say, is 4 years younger.
She's 59.
Really?
Susie Colbert is 59. So Joe Namath really wasn't robbing the cradle that much when he tried to smooch her. They make it seem like it's a April romance thing, but it was more like September romance.
It was still really gross and spooky.
No, she was about 40 years old when that Joe Namath thing happened.
What I want to know, Rick, is who was watching?
Yeah, the same guy that was watching Jeffrey Epstein on Suicide Watch.
I mean, is that an implication? It's like we put up cameras in her house and she's on the internet and we can watch. Yeah, she so she's concerned about her artist rights for her surviving children. Yeah. What else do I have for you? Anthony Walker Jr., bad injury last year.
He's
week 3 of the season. Yeah, he's still alive. But, I would say he had one of the hardest. When you just totally tear a quadricep, that is just bad news. And he's out on the field doing some light stuff. He wants to progress to 7-on-7s, but you're not going to see him on a football field for some time. That was his first major injury in the NFL, and it happened, against the Steelers. But he's trying to work his way back, but you're not going to see him anytime soon. And then there's the horrible, horrible, scary thing with Bronny James suffering cardiac arrest.
I think he's out of the hospital now.
He is out of the hospital. And actually, the other thing that's weird at USC, where he's, was, is going to be trying to play this year.
Some other guy a couple years
ago. Last year?
Last year.
Their freshman recruit guy, same thing.
Wow.
So I don't know what's up with that. We don't know what lasting effect this can have. The question is what the cause of it was. Sometimes it could be dehydration. Sometimes it is a pre-existing condition that's genetic. If you remember Reggie Lewis, the guy who was the player for the Boston Celtics, he died from cardiac arrest, and they found that they had this. It's one of those apathy words that has to do with the heart, and it's like a thickening of the heart muscle, and the muscle and the heart enlarges, and it can cause sudden death. It's very similar to what Hank Gathers died of out years ago, half court, after dunking a ball on the other end of the court. We wish Bronny James and the family well, and it's scary. 18 years old, that should not be happening, and it's just a frightening thing. A few things before I get out of here. People invariably will not ask me what I think of the Ahmed Rosario trade. And I'd say that it's the Guardians caving in and acknowledging that they're not very good this year. And they're just going to get rid of somebody so they don't have to pay him. Ahmed Rosario was starting to hit the ball, but he never was a great shortstop to begin with defensively. And we know all that this organization knows is defense and pitching. And basically, they took on Noah Syndergaard, the pitcher from Los Angeles, as an exchange just to be able to get out of paying Ahmed Rosario because Noah Syndergaard is so, I mean, at 30, he's done. All right. He never recovered fully for the Tommy John surgery that he had way back in 2020. And he hasn't been the same guy since. And, Terry Francona is not going to be able to get anything out of him. Sasquatch, Carl Willis isn't going to get anything out of him. The guy is shot. So don't think you got a pitcher and he's going to start. He's going to come out and start. And you're going to see this guy since he was since the Mets and he went different ways. He hasn't been anything. He's not been his old self. And that's not something that comes back. We talked about this with so many pitchers, when the velocity drops, when then the mechanics get all messed up. And, it was terrible watching Corey Kluber give up 7 consecutive hits or 8, whatever it was, against the Guardians. The last time he was out of the field against us on the mound. It's like you remember how dominant a pitcher Corey Kluber was, and to be reduced to nothingness. The problem is we don't really have a shortstop to replace Ahmed Rosario, and definitely not a shortstop who can hit the baseball. Gabriel Arias is a guy who has had what I call the utility man a shot at the major leagues, which means he doesn't get to play very much. He's hitting all of 196 this year. They seem to think he has some power. We saw a little bit of it, but he strikes out far too often. I'm sorry again. The bottom line is that Arias he made a stumble bum running mistake in yesterday's game, but he did get 2 hits, and he's a better defender than he is a hitter. Then you have Tyler Freeman, and Tyler Freeman is a guy who, quite honestly, he hits, but he's a utility guy. They're going to move him around. And he's got a slightly better bat than Arias does. Then you have Brian Rocchio in the minor leagues, and he is hitting 295 at AAA, and he's supposed to be an overall competent guy, but not quite ready to bring up yet. So I think Rocchio is going to be your shortstop of the future, and that Arias is going to be giving himself a chance to either play his way on or off the team. Yeah, I know, Tom. The pads are on, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all the women around.
Exactly.
Never
You don't want any leakages.
Yeah. So we don't have anybody ready at shortstop because if Arias is playing there, we don't have anybody ready. That's the bottom line with that. And that trade came very, very quickly with Rosario. They jumped off his boat very, very quickly. And he's only 26 years old, Rosario, and he hit well for the Guardians in 3 years that he was here. 2.5 years. He did a good job. So, there is one last thing I want to talk about before I get out of here. Rarely is there a good fight to watch. Saturday there is. Errol Spence Jr. is fighting Terrence Crawford at the welterweight weight class of 147 pounds. And these two fighters are both undefeated fighters, and it's been some time that they've been dodging one another. To put it in perspective, both guys do have the ability to get their man out of there. Spence is 28-0 with 22 KOs. Crawford 39-0 with 30 KOs. They've beaten good fighters, but they've never faced one another. This will be worth watching. So, I don't even know. I think it's a DAZN pay-per-view event. Pony it up if you got it, and be looking out for the DAZN pay-per-view in that fight. Terrence Crawford can do things a couple of different ways. I've watched these two fighters fight individually, but I don't have enough knowledge to be able to guess who's going to win this fight. I kind of leaning toward Terrence Crawford on this from the amount, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to look on YouTube at some of their fights, but I think that Crawford might be the favorite going into this fight. I think he's fought better people, and that should, that sometimes, assuming that one guy didn't age real quickly. You never know. You never know when it's one fight too many. That's all I have. I gotta figure out what this problem is with this router, because it's really not a router. It's
I think when you got into a good rant, that's when it would break up. So it was disappointing. So I'd never heard the punchline.
Yeah, the router is right here. It's a part of a wireless mesh network, and I don't believe that's the problem. I believe the problem is coming from the modem, and which communicates to the mesh network. So I'm going to have to power that off. And
final word from Dick Goddard, as now will be tradition.
It rained like a motherfucker today. I got to tell you, sitting out here in Northeast Ohio, and I saw the dark clouds coming, and the first thing I thought of is that we had pissed God off, and that this was Armageddon coming. And I hid. I went downstairs in my home, and I grabbed my family, and we just hung out downstairs. And fortunately, the rain did pass, and I maybe overreacted a little, but it was bad. It was supposed to be very, very hot today, and it never really got as hot as I said it was going to. If you remember, when I gave you the forecast last night, I said it would be a heat index of 172 and that God was trying to kill us. And I take that back now. Yeah, it was supposed to be over 100 heat index here.
That's fucked up.
But it didn't really happen because it was overcast. So, but at Florida, it's been upwards of 100, 700, 800, 9 degree heat index.
That is God's revenge.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, Ron Shane. I got to figure out what in the hell I'm going to sing tonight. But first, I got to fix this goddamn modem and find out why it's doing this. So
I think you should sing "I Left My Heart in San Francisco" just for Tony Bennett.
Well, the last time I went out, I sang a Tony Bennett song.
Oh, you did, huh?
Yeah, I did. So I'm not going to dwell on Tony Bennett, for God's sake.
He's dead.
Yeah, he's on the physically unable to perform list.
Yes.
All right. Definitely. Everybody, thanks a lot for tuning in. And for those who are sitting around at 6 o'clock saying, where in the fuck is he? You can watch the program. It will be archived. And I'm going to check out just what went wrong on the program technically. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Bronk, thanks for joining me. And we'll be back again on Monday. And until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.